Here they come to the right. 3 Mark 1s. Listen to that.
Ouais, son train il reste ouvert.
And one of them concerned. So this opening flight, which is a very gentle flight, consisting of 3 Spitfires Mark 1 in the sky of Duxford, and things changed, and Howard became completely in love with that delicate aircraft. Now, take the clock back in time. We're in 1935 in California. The Lockheed Aircraft parents, who is said to be, by the grapevine, a genius. People say that this young man is so gifted, which is perfect. And the name of this young man is Clarence Johnson, nicknamed Kelly Johnson. And Kelly Johnson is a monster. I mean, he has, just like people like Mitchell, maybe more, even more, he has this gift of going to radical solutions, and nothing will stop him. Became the tail unit of the aircraft, and a very small egg, streamlined egg of a fuselage, which houses a pilot and the armament and the instruments and the radios, and he designs a wing, which is, you won't do much better than that. The problem with the P-38, which was really soon nicknamed the Lightning, was that it was the first time the possibility of that you find when you reach the vicinity of Mach 1. It's the aircraft which opened through a few accidents and death, which opened the problem of very high speeds leading to the sonic barrier. In the beginning, it was designed to be a long-range fighter, a destroyer, but it became a wrecker aircraft also. But among pilots, mostly the Lightning will remain as the most beautiful flying machine ever made. It's a big twin-engine thing. It has powered controls. The first ones ever installed in an aircraft, which it's a big truck, but at the same time it has the maneuverability of a sports car. Ailerons mostly are very, very light, when, of course, the booster system was very easy to fly, gentle. It's flown today by Raymond Riedman, who's the chief pilot of Red Bull, the Flying Bulls. Listen. The problem for the pilot flying a P. Oh, here comes the Spitz on the left. You want a Spitfire? Here is a bunch of them. It's half black and half white. Let's read the cast. The pilots flying for you this afternoon. Carl Scofield is Griffin 1, is one of the big Spitfires pilot. The other one is flown by a French pilot, Charbot Charbonnel, who was Patrouille de France pilot in a previous life. And the small Spits, which are now in front. We have mentioned Maxi because and climbing like that. Then the aircraft loses the no effort. You just have this very strange spade grip, pitch control, pitch and roll control, and fly it by pressure. Only that control and the markings which are delicate aériens. And then over, let's say the distance. They're all different, but they're all good time now, but it's still at 800 yards grass. Chasing the measurements around now. It's the clip wing version. At low altitude, you don't need that extra surface of wing, and that is better than rolling. Here come the machines which were Howard Purdue's favorites. Now we get to most powerful engine you could house in the tiniest airframe possible and put the whole thing on an aircraft carrier, which in itself was already quite low. So and the Bearcat is the one with the stubby wings. Both of them naval aircraft, which means that they were on aircraft carriers, which in itself means that we are reaching limits of sanity a few times. And we want to slam this little space, and that after having in the middle of the Pacific, for instance, and with heat, that was not the aviation. just like a Harley Davidson engine, but instead of having 2 cylinders, they got scores of them, and systems and of course. And one could think that they are not. So the air coming takes the away and is exhausted laterally under the fuselage, and all the art of air to flow within it and take the heat away, and so keep the weight down and keep engines in
Sally B very shortly.
Well, it was born sometimes in 1943 or 44, I think, and just like the cats had many lives. Near Fulmare and have a drink. And we have this. Far from family.
Boise, Idaho, Pittsburgh, the center of Manhattan.
Yeah, 20 years old fly above Germany, and they were listening to 2 girls, and we have the dolls with us.
So, our little tribute to Sally B and her little friend, Anne Hancock.
Anne Hancock, 3 girls. Same for the P-47. Look at this monster. It's a big, huge engine. It's rugged. Some people at the time thought that this was the best aircraft because it was so rugged. It was so you couldn't break it. Just like most of these big American airplanes. Speed is the thing. When you go fast, you need to for speed, and slow speed is not your best. But
Exactly as it would have done 70 years ago this year.
And the B-17 supposedly is hit and loses #1 engine, which is smoking.
And that's our tribute to the Sally B Supporter Club members.
For him, he's not here today. He would have loved to be here. His name is Jack Crowell. Spitfires before today. Hurricane, at least we have one now. But the Lancaster. Look at the shape of this machine. It's sinister. Painted black like that. And of course the Lancaster wrote stories of which the big films are made, just like the Dam Busters. Co-pilot. Two Spits from the BBM. I thought that was American kind. So the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight is it's a unique outfit with the Royal Navy snake and very few air forces in the world do have specialized historical units. One of them, the leading one, version that was the latest. This was up to they had some of them the met flight of the Royal Air Force. They were using it as probes just to study the weather ahead up to the 50s. Very high, thing. From the right to Lancaster. It's a big, big machine. Even the tail wheel is big enough so that you
Well, let's take you back to a moment in time over 70 years ago.
Hello, Bombardier. Okay when you are. Bomb doors open. Bomb doors open, Bombardier. Okay, steady. Down! Down! He's shot down! He's shot down! Did you shoot him down? Yeah, he's got him, boy. Right in the middle. Bloody good. Bloody good. Right about take him. Keep weaving. There's some slack coming at me. Okay, down all at once.
During World War II, there were some real journalists, I would say, who hitchhiked rides in these machines. Some of them were quite famous. Understandably, it's difficult to soak it in and say, well, this is for true. This is not another Hollywood film. Here, look at this. To retract everything. Different outfit from the airline. The airline has a Boeing 747-400 division Boeing 777 and a Unicorn 52 division. The waiting list to get the seat into the cockpit of this aircraft is 7 minutes. If you are a pilot, that's how you can apply. So you have to volunteer. One is one. That's 7 minutes. So data just like today's business classes and most airlines. But anyway, this was aerial travel and not aerial transport. And these were different times when passengers were themselves themselves. Not heroes, but adventurers. German pilots of the period were mostly very, very, very well-trained pilots. And here we have a girl who is not German, she's half Brazilian. The Human, made by a small company called Duxford, was designed in two forms. One was a single-seater, and this is it. This is the Young Meister, this is the and this is a trainer, two-seater, a plane where you could learn to fly, flying as an art and not only as a technique. But also they developed a real method of flying. They analyzed about 350 had 50 victories, not much more. And in Germany, the experts were counted in the hundreds. And they literally had dozens and dozens of pilots with such a knowledge of flying. There is one good Alsace squadron, Spitfire Knights, and Klosterman wrote that whenever you flew in a piece of sky occupied by one German expert, you felt it, and that would typify, because something was you could think lots about yourself, but compared to that guy, you were nothing. Structure is so delicate, it's very, for instance, one wing on the Meister has smaller than that, and at the same time very delicate. I would say that this was one of the perfect aircraft to fly, and that the Buckers, these ones, were probably on the same league. In fact, they might even inverted push up a little. This area once belonged to a gentleman which was an inspiration for many of us. He had invented pilot magazine, beautifully balanced little fighter. Let's get back. Fighter you've seen streaking across the sky is a Hawker Sea Fury, which is just like the Bearcat we've seen earlier. The Sea Fury is the end of the line in terms of piston engine performance. This is the ultimate propeller-driven aircraft. This very Sea Fury is based in France. It's flown by Eric Goujon. Eric was a fighter pilot with the French Air Force. He's now an airline pilot. And Eric just recently soloed in this. This is without a doubt the most fantastic aircraft I've ever flown. And he's flown, for instance, he's been the demo pilot, the official demo pilot for the Mirage 2000, which is supposed to be one of the great aircraft of today in terms of... Eric and the Sea Fury just got together. Of course, what Eric is doing is that he tries to fly through the rings, through the smoke rings. This is another one very famous fighter demo, very advanced propeller-driven combat aircraft, and we started with the monster typhoon. It was rugged. Look at the way it climbs up into the sky. For instance, there's
More and bigger props on.
the problem is that you get a propeller in front of the aircraft, and the prop in itself, as it turns in one direction, they try to counteract the after effects of the propeller by resistance. The Curtis's coming from the left. Curtis is from Buffalo. And then suddenly the thing becomes very heavy pitch. But look at this one with the number 294 on the fuselage. Now in the sky we get to survive for a long week. It was and I made in New Zealand. The fuselage was made in California, but 10% of the aircraft is already. So this little Curtis 75, which is now turned this is a monumental thing, like it's the only aircraft. And when the Japanese on the 7th of December 41 zonked Hawaii, they spared that hangar, and this aircraft was saved, and this is why today it's still flying as the only Pearl Harbor survivor. It's a P-40B right here. P-40B Pearl Harbor was waved all from the fighter collection. Air Force unit against the Luftwaffe, and somebody and after that, all day after Pearl Harbor, the Americans came to the French weapons, which is the Iraq with aircraft the battle for Casablanca lasted for 2 days. The sad thing is that the Russians started to fight the Germans, and the Russians at that point almost impossible to make mistakes in terms of maintenance, in terms of getting them airborne. They are very special in particular fields. Some people the Russians provided them with the best they had, and those were magnificent. And Normandy, and not Eric Brown, as I said. Just buried in this fuselage between the wings. You don't see much out now. And the worst part of it is landing them. They have very stiff landing gears, almost no absorption ability. So you have to kiss land them all the time. Right or left or whatever. You have to be very quick on the controls.
It's worth bearing in mind though, Bernard, that if we were as the Typhoon is today,
kids would give an arm just to be able to fly these. They would say, wow, I want to be an England pilot. And that was a dream for them. But, and in fact, it's true that if you look at them in terms of turning ability, climbing ability, they are not ridiculous at all. They're very good aircraft, but of course, the fate was written. And from the right, the Cadillac of the sky. And they want to know that based in Los Angeles near the beach, surfers and aerospace aeronautical company at the time, and they went to see guys at North American and said, would you build for us please 300 P-40s from Curtiss? People at North Tech, where you had Android. This professor of aerodynamics, they had recruited a German engineer who had left Germany, Nazi Germany in 1933, and Gus then a P-40. And he said, yes, but that will take years. So they said, we can do that something like that. And they the prototype of this thing, which is a miracle. It's, in fact,
Rolls.
For Rolls, who had the idea. And so here you have a multiple-sound aircraft, a little bit of German, a lot of American. It's a Californian aircraft, which explains maybe why. I can tell you that in life, just look at them now. And picture yourself inside the thing. You're well seated in a very comfortable cockpit. You see very well outside, beautiful visibility. You're into this bubble. You get very nice controls. They are not oversensitive. Could do that, and that was because of Theodor von Karman's wing shape. After that, of course, the Mustang became a group of extraordinary men whose business was quite simple. Because taking off from here, some airbase here in the south of England at night. No lights. The navigator without lights, but a torchlight inside the cockpit, and you get to find the thing, the bloody field, the potato field, where the people from the resistance are waiting with somebody you have to bring back to England and Europe.
By the way,
because
that's airmanship at the highest.
You just fly slow, high, and then you cross the channel, and then you cross the France, and you end up in Europe, and you come down and you try on your map aesthetics. The thing you see under the belly is not a computer, by the way, it's a hole. That's why you can put. The wing is near perfection in terms of its capacity to fly very slow, but fly quite fast, because it's is to the left, and in front of us is a beautiful Catalina, designed in the middle of the 30s. this gigantic machine. It's not that gigantic compared to a 777, 300, or of course to an Airbus 380. But just look at it. The engines are 500 horsepower each one. Ted Whitney, very miles per hour. The inside of the cabin of the today flies Jessie Fury we've seen, and above all, incredible saltfish. The saltfish was a torpedo-carrying biplane. Look at it. It was a gigantic biplane with folding wings in order to be stowed under the bridge in the aircraft carrier hangar. And despite its huge dimensions, it was you could have a few of them in the standard living fire. And the shortages from the Royal Navy during the whole duration of the war really wrote history. They sunk some of the most famous. Wanted to. That's what happened when you take your kids to judo instead of wing walking. She was a gymnast when she was a girl, a kid, and she got a first job from her the princesses there and Winnie the Pooh. And then after that, she applied for a position on the top wing of the nest. Is the sensations you have when you do a loop. It's so exciting about that. Doing a loop in a cockpit of an airplane when you're flying it is okay. The contrary, can be very fun. But the aircraft that would do the same at sunset at night. And for me, that aircraft still is. In fact, the DC-3 is the machine.
We have. It's been a fantastic show, and thank you.
So now we're going. It's a signature of. The signature of the break takes his back out and Stephen. One day somebody told me, you know who's the guy with the family, the British family who invented the world business? It's a Grace family. I don't know if it's true, I don't think so, but Steve is pure epitome of British businessman, working all around the world. He started his life because he always look at the way he flies. Stephen is over 70 years old. I won't tell you his age. He doesn't care, by the way. He's well over that. But look, he's flying this Bearcat. The Bearcat is a perfect toy for a 23 years old, over testosterone male. But here too is granddaddy. Look at that. The man is a master when it comes to flying. The thing with Stephen, when he flies, is that he never does any unnecessary with the aircraft. This man has a gift for pure trajectory, pure flight, pure melody. Earlier this afternoon I said that any musician would be a good pilot, or any pilot who's a musician is a pilot. Where is perfection? Look at that. You have the answer. Perfection is when you take an aircraft and the aircraft, of course, exercises like an athlete and does what it can do in terms of speed and capacity to occupy the sky in 3 dimensions. But you have to have a brain inside it, because no aircraft will ever fly like that on its own. But it's at the same time you don't want to be rough on the machine. You just want to make it do what it does best. And the coupling of Stephen Gray's piloting and the little Bearcat is something you don't see anywhere else. So this is a joke. And of course, he himself decided he wanted to be called a joke. And of course, the word in his mind has many different meanings, and all of them are true.
Lui 20, 21 aussi, 21.
Which is exactly on the colors of the P-38 prototype of 1936. Is Raymond Rickman from Westwood. Second element coming in, Spitfires.
22 films achetés, de la carte qui est noire.
Ah bah t'es plein.
Films achetés. Oh, ça, je vais arrêter, c'est tout.
Curtis's. Because of the